To stack funds, you got to miss fun.
Absolutely. Actually, I was at the hotel before, and a guy came over. He was like ecstatic to see me, and I said, "Sit down, have a chat." And he was 26, I believe, and I was like, as men, especially, your 20s are everyone's 20s are an amazing time, but as men, we've got to provide, we've got to look after our, family, future family, and unfortunately, those building blocks are done primarily in your 20s, but those 20s are when you want to, when we look the best, and when
the
you
most energy,
and when you want to do the most, and you want to be seen, heard. You want to go to the clubs. You want to take advantage of your youth because you're only 21, and it's a very, very, very fine line, because it's a balance between ghosting and missing it, and then having money and not being able to enjoy it, or go and go stacking, and so yeah, I think I've done that from 22 to 31. People didn't see me. I've just been working. Sometimes even I'm like, oh man. I mean, I've done well, but I don't have a social life. And I'm not social by nature, so it actually works for me, but a lot of people are social by nature. But sometimes I think, it's actually nice to enjoy the fruits of your labor with people you care about, or your staff, or even, for example, the store launch party. My staff go, Reese, we're going to do a launch party. And they start laughing and like, Reese, he doesn't care. He would just open the store. The store will be open, there'll be no launch party, because it's not my style. But at the same time, I'm like, that's a big moment. Not just for me, but for everybody who's worked so hard on that project. You've got to do it. But then I'm like, I don't really want to invite anybody though. Like, I only want my real close people there, because I know
you got 5 people there.
That's the thing. Like, I'm so private and I'm so close with my friend. I'm not really going back to the business strategy. I don't do influencers. I don't want favors. I don't want you to wear it and say, he's my friend. Like, I'm happy to be friends, but don't do me any favors. I'll do you favors, but don't do me anything, because then you feel like I have to owe you something. So yeah, there's a price to pay on that aspect too.
I think you can set yourself a goal, reach that goal, celebrate the fact you reached that goal, and then, okay, let's get back and set another goal.
Yeah, dangerous cycle.
You think?
Yeah, dangerous cycle.
But do you think you get too carried away with the celebration of achieving a certain goal?
Like I said earlier, I've seen downfalls, whether that's in every sector, not just business. And it's a very slippery slope. When you're the man, when you've got money, when you're the woman and you've got money and you're attractive and you look after yourself and everybody wants to know you, everybody wants to be your friend. Most people can't tell the difference between who's real and who's fake. Most people can't tell the difference between genuine praise and I want something from you praise. And before you know it, you believe your own hype. You take your foot off the gas, you get invited to an extra show or an extra event. And then before you know it, the business is gone. And there's no turning back time. And I'm not saying there's people who can't find that balance. Clearly there is, but most people can't. And I believe I could find the balance. But I guess, like I said earlier, I'm not social. I don't really enjoy that anyway. So I'm lucky that I don't need that kind of pull. But I think irrespective of whether my personality is that way, I prefer not to take that chance. I prefer if I walk down the street in London or even here, people stop me, and it's like if you know person, if you know, you know. If you're interested in business, you're interested in mentality, you probably know of me. If you're not, I'm a stranger, and I like that.
Yeah, you got the right people coming up to you.
Correct, and I think if you open the doors to that celebrity, everyone's your friend, and yeah, it's a slippery, dangerous slope.
I've even noticed it myself, like where I would say to myself, "Oh, you've worked hard, you deserve a bit of time off, so take a bit of time off." And then it's so hard to get back into the flow again, especially when it comes to creating content, whether it's doing the podcast or doing like vlogs, whatever it might be. I've got to the point now where I actually don't like having that time off. Like once I've found the flow and the rhythm, I want to keep that going for as long as I can do, and just avoid anything that's going to, take me off track.
Well, here's a perfect example. This is the first time I've left the country this year. I've been in the office every single week, minus maybe 1 or 2, even when all my senior staff are on multiple holidays, long trips away, which sounds weird, like I'll be filling in their work and I'm the boss and I don't have to. And it's the same thing as what you said. That flow state is so productive. And once you break the flow state, it's a bitch to get back into. And even here, when I'm wake up, I go to the gym. I'll be on the laptop until, I don't know what time, the time zone, but until like they're finished working at 3 p.m. So before 7 p.m., I'll be on my laptop. Then I'll go for dinner or do what I need to do. But if I break that flow state, when I get home, it's going to be hell.
Yeah.
And to get back on track, I think it's going to take me weeks. So I just like, no matter where I am, I want to keep that state. And again, going back to what you said about holidays, I see it all the time. People get money and they're out of the country every week. They're here, there, and everywhere. And I'm like, it's funny actually. When I see this, I'm like, oh, you're food to me, because you can't do what I do. Like, I will resist that urge, and it's a bit addictive. And again, it's not necessarily healthy. But when I see people becoming into money, doing this, doing that, I'm like, oh, you're not going to maintain this, and you're leaving space for me. And as I said, there's no active competition. Even if it's a psychological warfare for me, I'm like, I know he's not doing what I do, so I'm confident I'm going to win when it comes to it.